So hey guys, this is Haneesh from the future, and I'm here to tell that due to some technical issues, I'm unable to upload the entire video together. So the next part will be coming right up tomorrow. It's ready, and for some other reasons, I'm unable to upload it. So hope you'll cooperate with me guys, and thank you. And this is me, Haneesh, signing off.
So I'm back after a few understandings. I've understood that we need to use the browser router and the routes. Then here we'll go and change this to browser router and we'll change this to routes and move this inside. Next step, instead of the auth, we'll be changing this to user and then ch change this to user and this to user. So if you don't know what I'm doing, in the auth context, we are passing in an object, right? One is user, login, and logout are the three values. So we are getting the user value into the router.jsx. So the app should now work fine. Login and home are not defined. We'll be importing them. Auth context was not found. Exported default login.jsx. Where is our login.jsx? Line number 12. So there's nothing in line number 12. 12 is to 30 to 41. Mm. So in the auth context, we have to import it somewhat like this because it's not the default export. And then we'll be taking in the user, right? That should do the job. And then once we'll go check our router for some issues, and instead of component, this is element. Yep. And our login page is just quick and fine. So next step will be implementing the login functionality, but not in here. Let me arrange this code a bit. Yep, this is looking fine. So we are in the login.jsx, and here we'll be needing the login function, and we'll be creating our function handle login. And then login username and password. Or else we can make this function an asynchronous function, and we can await for the response. Const response equal to, then if response dot code, let's go to our auth context and we'll check the login function here, and we are giving the status and the message. So the code will be login/success or login/failure equal to login/success. I mean, we don't really have to do anything, but we'll be logging a few statements just for confirmation part. And then handle login, that should be it. So in the task manager's authentication, we'll be adding a new user, test@gmail.com, the password of probably test@123. So let's go back to our app, test@gmail.com, and then test@123. So cannot read properties of undefined reading code. Let's refresh. There is an error, I guess. So we'll be making a few logs. Logging in, log user.credential. I will be logging the error. and then we'll refresh this page, open up our console. So let's, okay. So undefined code. Now we'll be going back to our login.jsx, res.code, and we'll check if the res.code is not if the response is not undefined, and then res.code. So test is red 1 2 3. Response. So we tested out the Gmail and password. So it's saying type error cannot with properties of undefined. That should do it. So we'll be using test email again, and the password test@123. We've logged in. As you can see, we have an access token which we'll be needing, and we have a bunch of other stuff like the UID, and this UID should be matching with this one. Yep, it does. Let's check the last signed in date, and it shows today. So yep, the authentication function is working, but for some reason it's not storing up the value, probably. So each time this loads up, I'll be using react.useEffectHook. I'll be logging the user. So I'll be refreshing. Okay, so the auth context does tell me that the user exists. So I won't be logging it in here. And let's refresh and check. Yep, the auth context is getting stored. Now, for some reason, the router.jsx still doesn't show it up. So let's use a react.useEffectHook and log in what the user is. If user home else login. Okay, and we have the home now, and in the home we'll be placing a logout button log out, and we'll be using the context APIs. So const equal to react.useContext auth context, and we'll be importing it, and we'll be importing the logout functionality, and then on click equal to logout. That should do the trick. When I click logout, the user gets logged out, and when I log in, it gives me this page. So this is what I need, right? Yep, this is what I wanted. A basic login and logout functionality which can store the user session. Now let's ask ChatGPT to do the styles. Can you make me the styles? Now ChatGPT is generating a CSS file. Okay, now we'll be copying it. And where's the login.jsx? We'll be creating a new folder in src css slash login.css. I will be pasting everything in here, login.jsx, and then we will be importing the css files. Dot slash dot slash c dot slash css slash login.css. So the login page looks pretty cool. I like it. I'm gonna stay with it. So yes guys, now we will continue with our app. So here is the home page, but for now we will be getting something like create tasks function. Now the create tasks function is what we'll be addressing with the Firebase database, also known as Firestore. So we'll open up Firestore database, and in here we'll create a new database. And coming over to the locations, you have to set the one which is closest to you. For me it's Asia South 1 Mumbai is the closest for me. And then we will start in test mode. If you guys don't know what test mode is, it allows any read and write request if the uh, date is before 1 month. So for the next 1 month I'll be able to access it anytime. But if you start in production mode, we can't read and write. We have to write our own rules. So for now, let's go with the test mode. Create, and it is provisioning Cloud Firestore. Now I'm only giving the auth code for the front end. Now we will be moving on to the backend for the database functions. So let it provision the Cloud Firestore. In the meantime, I'm gonna go to router index.js. Now this is a typical message which we are getting, and in the Firebase we have auth.js and firebase.js if you remember. Now let me close up all the front-end files, and I'm opening the auth.js. So in the auth.js we can create a new function named, let's say, verify token return, or wait to be precise, and we'll turn this function into an asynchronous function. Then module dot exports dot verify token equal to verify token. So we're exporting the verify token, and then we will be exporting our auth just in case. Now we'll go to index.js and we'll set up our router to get slash auth slash verify token for now, slash auth slash verify token, or else this should be enough, and request and the response. Now in here we will be importing the uh, auth and verify token. Require dot slash firebase slash auth, and we'll be importing the verify token function. Now coming here, we'll do a post instead of a get here. So let's change it to router dot post, and then const
given token equal to request dot headers dot token, and we'll verify the token, and we will add a catch log too, and there we go. That seems pretty good. Now we'll go back to our router, and before we do this all, we'll be logging the decoded token. Also, we'll better change this to response, and then we'll be going to our front end, probably home.jsx. And earlier I forgot to mention, but we'll be using the Axios for our API calls. So we'll change the directory into client and we will install Axios. For those of you who don't know what Axios is, let me open up the uh, Axios page for real quick. So Axios is HTTP client for browser and Node.js. That should make it simple. It's like a better version of Fetch API with some really amazing features. Now Axios has been installed, and we'll probably take the user in here. React.useEffect. Whenever the user is modified. Now import Axios from Axios. Now we'll do Axios.get. For now we will paste in the server address /server /auth/verify, and instead of get we'll do a post here, and then in the headers we'll give, let's see, the headers we need token home.jsx token equal to user dot token. So now I found the mistake that we shouldn't actually use headers to get the body, and then the token is not actually the token, it's the access token. Now let's go back to index.js and open up our terminal. Yep, and then we'll go to in here, refresh. Let's check it over there. Yep, it's a secure token indeed. So however it says token unauthorized. So let's see why is that happening. Okay, so first we'll remove the logs over here, it's kinda sus. Then let it restart, then we'll refresh our page, and there we go. So
it does give me the correct one indeed. However, it says unauthorized. But why? Now we'll be logging in the aware just to know that. And res.json is not a function. Okay, okay. So it looks like we have to remove these both, or else instead we can say const response equal someone like that. If response dot user ID, then we'll be doing this. So that is to say, yeah, it exists. Now we'll be moving our code in there. Yep. And then we'll be adding an else loop over there, just like that. Easy. So that's it. That's what I expect should happen. And let's refresh this page. And it says unauthorized though. Now we'll be logging in the response dot user ID. Okay, it says undefined. So how about we log only response? Okay, my bad. I forgot to add the await and the other stuff. So let's turn this function into an asynchronous function and wait for this task. That should be what happens. And access error. Let's see. So app crashed. JSON.stringify value. So yep. Okay, so this is not what we wanted. So instead of res, we'll be passing in the response here. And then we'll refresh. Status 200. Code token verified. Data. And we have the other stuff. Message token verified successfully and status code 200. Exactly what we wanted. So from the backend, we're actually verifying our auth tokens. So now we get on to the part. We'll be creating the task manager from here right now. So before we do all of that stuff, I quickly want to do something. So every time we change our environment from development to production, we have to change it all over again. So I think it's not reliable, right? So I've got a better way to handle that. Now in the env, we'll be adding one more variable named React App Environment, and we'll set it to dev, short form to be precise. And then we'll always go to already created context, the auth context, which wraps up the entire app. Now where is it? In here we'll pass server URL equal is to process dot env dot react app development, react app environment to be precise, equal to dev. Okay, so let's change it up a bit. Mm, so if it is dev, we'll be passing in http colon colon 127.0.0.1 is to 8000, or else we'll be passing in slash, or and we'll be adding a slash in here. That's what we need. So now I'll be showing what's the use of this part over here. So let's say since we are using the server routes here, oh, by the way, we have to change it to slash server slash. So and here it goes the same. So in here we'll be even taking the server URL, let's say, and we'll be adding the server URL plus /verify. So now let's refresh, and since we are on development environment, it should work pretty fine. So let's check what the other is, slash server slash auth slash verify, which is actually wrong. React app equal to dev. So what is the value? It is okay. This should do the part. Okay, now we have to restart our app. Okay, backend because it has crashed, and we'll be needing to restart the front end because we've just changed the environment variables. So let's wait for it to be started. The server has been started successfully, and it's starting the development environment, and there we go. So yes, it's working fine. Now let me show you how to actually link this both. So let's say you're I know this app isn't ready. I just shown you the basics of how to connect backend and frontend. Now we'll be learning how to actually link this client and server together. So for the starters, I'll be copying this and I will be creating a clone in here. So let's paste server prod. So we will be creating this production server right now. So it's not reliable. It takes a lot of time, guys. So in the meantime, we'll be opening up our terminal and we'll go into client and create a build version. But note that before creating the build version, change your environment to prod, at least not something which is equal to dev. Now we'll be saying npm run build. For those of you guys who don't know what is npm run build, it creates a build folder with for the React code which we've written. Now in the time while it gets created, I'll be opening my Windows Explorer, and in here I'll copy all the server code excluding the node modules. I'll be creating a server prod and I'll be pasting all of them in here. Simple. Now let's change our directory to server server prod, and install all the packages. So we are creating a server clone, to be precise. This will be a development server and this will be a production server. So here is the build modules which has been created. Now in the server prod, we got the node modules installed. So we'll be moving on the build folder to the server prod. So you basically understand, right? Let me close everything. So in basic terms, we have a production server which has a build code. So this build code can actually run on its own. So what we'll be doing is going to our app.js, and we will be saying app.get slash asterisk. So we'll be transferring all the routes to the same. We will be saying uh, response.send send file to be precise, and instead of public we have built in here. So when I say nodemon app.js, the nodemon app.js, the app should run perfectly. So our there's already a server running at 8000 ports, so let me change it to 5500 probably. Okay, so the log says the wrong port, but still we'll be going to the port 5500, 127 5500. And I forgot one more thing, app.use express.static, and we'll pass in the build, then it should be fine. Yep. So this is completely a backend server with a front-end framework, React. So let me prove it in the Vapalizer, which is a technology prover. It detects the technologies being used by the website. It shows React as well as Express. So we have a React backend with an absolutely pure Express web server. So we've connected React to Express. Now uh, we have the email of test as gmail.com, and then we'll be logging in just like that. And you know what? It says a token verified. But how? Because, okay, so to prove it, I'll actually be canceling the terminal, which I have the development server. So in the development server, I have cancelled the server, and if I refresh this page, it still shows token verified because the production server has the same server code. So if we go to slash server, it will be giving and slash server slash auth slash verify token. So this is a post route, we won't be getting anything. So this is the typical example of how to connect Express to React. Now for the hosting part, if I remember, render is the free one. So sign in. I already have an account. I'll be using my GitHub. So before that, we'll be needing a GitHub repo. And we'll name it task manager YT. So this will be public for all of you guys to get the code. So now I'll be changing into the, I'll say git add dot. Also I have to init git initialize, and then I'll add all the files. Oh my god, it looks like I forgot to add the node modules into the git ignore probably. Yep, server prod slash node modules, and I'll be adding all of these. Now git commit -m initial commit. Now we'll be getting the code. So git remote add origin and git push -set upstream origin master. So this should push all of this code into here, and yep, it's done. So let me refresh here, and there we have all the code which we need: the client, the server production, and the server, along with the git ignore. So now we have the thing ready for our creation. So we will be adding a web service precisely, and then build and deploy from a git repository, and we'll click on next. Let's connect this one, and in here we will be naming it task manager YT again, and I'll let it stay with Singapore. Root directory is for us server prod. Now the build command will be npm install, and node app.js is the run command. I will be going with the free tire and environment variables. So this is the most important part. We will be needing the env keys, but since we don't have any, I'll be leaving it empty here, because the client actually has the in the build folder we actually have the env file completely hidden, so we don't actually have to care about that one. So before we do that, I think I will be deleting the service account key.json. So unfortunately I forgot to remove this. So what I'll be doing this is kinda simple. I'll be editing this file, and in the private key I'll be saying, oh my god, this thing is just too lengthy. Paste your own key. Paste your ID here, and then nothing in here, nothing in here. This is fine, this is fine, this is fine, this is not fine, and I'll be changing it to nothing in here, and task manager -yt commit changes, and commit these changes. Now I'll be clearing up the previous commit so that you guys don't actually mess up with my service account keys later. So no point in trying to retrieve the service account key. So next step, we'll be going back to render dashboard, and we'll create the web service. Oh no, 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 I did the mistake. No, guys, I did the mistake. In the server prod, we actually need the keys. So whenever you guys do this, make sure your service account key is not messed up like mine's, because you will be needing the exact keys in here, which obviously we don't have here, unfortunately. So build is successful, but the running will fail, obviously. I know it. So there's no point. But make sure that you guys paste everything in here so that you won't have any issues. So that's how you connect a ReactJS frontend to an ExpressJS backend and host it. So that's it for this video, and in the next video we'll be continuing with our to-do list, and when that series is over we might actually continue the task manager series. So here we end our video, which addresses the topic how to connect a front end to a backend and vice versa. Thank you for watching, hope you like it, and please do subscribe for more videos just like this, and also comment for the videos which you require, and I'll be sure I will be answering all your comments. Thank you and have a nice day.